Just us.
Everybody
Mamma
else is
mia.
Mamma mia, pasta pria. Noah, get the boat.
Get the boat.
Noah, get the boat.
Here you guys got some water over there.
Yeah. Nothing's happened recently.
Now I notice, but Noah, what mic are you talking to? Is it
Talking
the
to my
correct
Yeti.
mic? You sound low or far away or something.
Let me verify. It says I'm in my Yeti. Let me move my Yeti. Does that sound any better?
You don't sound like a
No.
Yeti. What do Yetis sound like?
I'm not yet sure
Does that
you're on
sound
the
any
Yeti.
better? I am definitely on the Yeti. I'm watching the game control.
Okay, well that's good. What about Restream?
Yeah, Restream is set for the Yeti.
Okay. Welcome to Technical Setup with
101.
BHIS.
Welcome to Noah's a big fan.
Noah's a big fan.
He turned off the fan. No, the fan turned off. I think it broke.
No, I've got it hooked up to relays, and then I've got buttons on my desk.
Noah, did you get blinky lights just for like effect? Like, is that a, or is that like a fake background?
That's his.
By your arm.
By your arm, you got a little
can
blinky
see, like,
lights down there.
Yeah, blinky server.
there it is.
That's my server rack.
Oh yeah, see, you're trying to join the club.
He's serving.
I get it. He's serving things. What are you serving over there?
Mostly like Plex
Boats.
and Home Assistant and a few other things.
Mostly boats.
Boats. Noah, get the boat.
I've got a giant schematic database of boats.
Yeah, it needs a lot of space.
We missed the news last week.
www.noahsboatfacts.com.
Have you given up on satellites? Is that what's happening?
Oh,
or
no.
just expanding?
No, I plan to connect to the satellites with my boats.
Oh, that's okay. Now it's coming
The
together.
link will be established between the boat and the satellite.
The Starlink for your boat.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm really waiting for that. I think it's going to be a big market for them.
It should be.
Yeah. Maritime Satcom on the Starlink. They actually have for ships, they have like a gyro like a self-guided or a self-centering system, so that when the boat moves, the dish doesn't move at all, right?
That's like a gyroscope, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I call it gyro, but gyroscope I think is actually the word. But
not the sandwich.
But it's like
a euro.
Mechanical.
It's a euro.
Like
it's a euro.
American.
My favorite Italian dish, a euro, right? So,
Mamma mia!
It like centers itself in the boat, right? And it's usually on like a dome. That's why she like these domes, right? So that it can move around and kind of point itself without losing tracking. So, but
all right. So now after boat facts, why don't you run the intro, Ralph?
What?
No,
I thought you had this. Ah, dang it! All right, I'll take it.
Welcome to Information Security, Ralph and About the News. This is your host, Ralph.
All right, we're gonna start then.
Welcome to Corey and
Play
How
the
I Got a
Broken Finger. Here we go. John's at
broken
RSA.
finger.
Broken
John's
finger.
at RSA.
Welcome to Black Hills Information Security, talking about the news. I'll be your host today, Ralph May, and I am joined by a all-star studded cast of the most handsome and probably coolest people you'll ever meet in the world.
Are they backstage? Where are they, Ralph?
Yeah, I know. They're going to come on any minute now.
Bring them on out.
We have Ryan, who's making us sound good. Without him, we would all sound bad and nothing would work, and then you wouldn't be able to see our pretty faces. And then we have Noah, who is actually building a boat right now. And also he's got blinky lights in the background. We were just talking about that. So now he's fitting in with the club. And then we have Corey, who lost his mustache or whatever he was wearing. I'm not really sure. It was
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was a filter, right? Was it a filter?
Yeah, that was an overlay.
Yeah, no, this is what AI is bringing to us. Really bad filters, right? Or really good, or I don't know, just mixed up. So anyways, welcome.
We missed the news last week. We missed you all.
We did.
Yeah,
what happened last week? Oh yeah,
we had a day off last week is what happened.
Yeah, but we still missed everyone, Ryan. You got to lie to the audience.
You have to tell them.
Well, technically,
truth.
that's true.
Yeah, well,
we missed them because we weren't here.
In the news.
So what happened? Did anything happen?
That's the other thing that's amazing
in the
about this
world?
newscast. None of us are ready. None of us are prepared. But we're going to talk about.
No,
what
I mean, like, what is Ralph? Hit us with some news. Is EVGA sending out free shirts for bug bounties now? Because I see you got an EVGA shirt there.
No, I got an EVGA shirt because I was in the queue for 19 months or whatever it took. Right? They literally send you a shirt when they finally do send you a GPU, overpriced, as like a consolation prize for just sticking it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got this shirt, in case anyone cares. But
so it wasn't a bug bounty.
It's a pity shirt, is what
it's
you're
a
saying.
pity shirt. Yeah, they felt bad for me, so they sent me a shirt. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what did happen last week.
Well, I guess first we got to follow up with ongoing stories. Elon Musk and Twitter. I mean, I'm not following this. I have no idea what's going on. Does anyone know what's going on? Apparently, he's like, "I will buy you. I won't buy you. I actually will. No, I won't."
It was all a ploy. He never was going to buy it.
It was another pump and dump.
It's a pump and dump. Yeah,
isn't he like being sued by people for like depressing the value of the stock?
I think he is. I think he is over the breach, whatever, or breach.
He threatens to scrap the deal. I feel like that's only the 10th time he's done that.
This really feels like Dogecoin, but just change it for Twitter. I don't know.
Was he going to buy all of Dogecoin?
No, but he keeps talking about it the same way he keeps talking about buying Twitter, right? I don't know. It's whatever. At this point, I don't care. Just do it. Do something. Just commit. But we'll see.
He's committing to toying with everybody.
Yeah,
I do. I think that the thing that like really sets off my BS detector is just like, so he has to inherently know that there's a certain amount of fake accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the whole like, whoa, there's fake accounts. Like anytime you walk in and you see how the sausage is made, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm backing out. There's fake accounts. I mean, I guess maybe it implies, and I feel like this is what news agencies are doing, is taking it as a sign that it implies that there's like half the accounts are fake or something. Like,
yeah, they're mostly fake.
Like it's a crazy number, but I feel like it's more, I could be wrong, but I could feel like he's using it as an excuse because the stock market has tanked so much since the offer. Mm-hmm. His stocks and his personal wealth has gone down by so much that he's just kind of like, actually, maybe this was a bad idea.
Well, and like, I mean, at the risk of sounding stupid, I guess.
You can't sound stupid
as a Twitter user. Like, it wasn't a surprise to me to find out that there was some fake accounts on Twitter, and we all know that Elon is definitely involved on Twitter. So,
do you think
how is this a surprise?
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, he literally like paid like $10,000 for some kid who had a fake account that tracked his jet around. So I mean,
he didn't pay it. Famously,
he didn't pay it.
He
whatever.
Didn't pay it, but then he was about to buy the whole thing for 44B just to shut it down, right? But yeah, no, the thing about this is that it is so weird, and we don't know the details. And apparently, he's violating the NDA that they had for talking about the bot accounts in the first place. So
he really doesn't like rules. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Notice that?
I think he really just is a very impulsive person because he knows he can get away with it, right?
I guess.
Well, but he actively goes out of his way to find the loopholes in the rules. Like that's pretty obvious to see.
So he's a pen tester.
This is like the guy who's read every terms of service I think ever, and he takes advantage of that.
That's fun. So anyway, nothing has actually happened, but there's like these articles about it.
No news is good news, but let's talk about more news.
Apparently he's threatening to back out, which he has been threatening to back up for, a while now. Do you
guys want to talk about this the CVE 2022 26134 that everyone knows about exclusively?
What? Oh, is that the Microsoft one?
No. So, all right, that brings up two good points.
I don't memorize CVE numbers.
Yeah, we did have.
This isn't the. It's not. Oh, it's the Confluence one. Okay.
Yes, it's the Confluence one. I was going to say we did have two big ones, right? Because you brought up the Microsoft. So there was a CVE, a 0-day vulnerability, and Confluence server, and it was actively being exploited. This was a authentication bypass? Hold on.
It's
bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. It is remote code execution, so it's an RCE.
Yeah, it's like the classic. I guess it honestly looks like shell shock to me. Is what it looks like. It's basically.
It was a pretty easy check too. I think it. There was a. You could pretty much throw a serialized data at it and get some response back. So you could get a X command response header back, and you could start reading, stuff like executing commands, right? So
yeah, so this is extremely bad. Extreme, 0 day posted publicly, and it's been like, I will say, people reacted. It got a lot of publicity. People reacted pretty quickly. It got blocked by Cloudflare.
Yep.
So Cloudflare customers that are using their services for proxy will not be affected by this issue. But obviously, they should still patch because nothing's perfect. But
yeah,
pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely situation normal.
If you have Confluence and you're somehow living under a rock and this is your source of actual news, please go patch.
Yeah.
And find a secondary news source.
Should I go in there and ask Atlassian what they're doing about it?
Yeah, you should. You should. So Ian, are you at the RSA? Are you live?
I am live in front of Moscone South for RSA 2022, where basically there's a gravitational pull of salespeople and dollars rolling into San Francisco. Absolutely, we are doing.
Ian, my buzzword counters are up 10%. What are yours at?
Buzzword right now.
Absolutely. Well, the head buzzword is actually around inventory and also automation. So when you come into the airports, you will see no shortage of clip art, of robots, and other automation that has absolutely nothing to do with any sort of real IT function. So as long as a cartoonish robot saying that it can automate all your problems is for you, then it is in that building and it is ready to receive a PO. So absolutely.
Wow.
Some people say that they've actually automated Synergy in there. Is that a false report?
Well, it is not a false report. They have automated some synergies. However, some synergies have been moved to Q2 of 2023. So partial synergistic ML AI confluence happening inside many of the systems available there. So, but if you speak to any of the people that are there in the booth, they will tell you that the new lightweight agent will fix that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you got to have a lightweight agent nowadays.
Yeah.
I had some.
But I thought we were moving towards agentless. I thought we were going towards agentless. I thought that was the whole thing.
Yeah, it's actually really impressive. It is agentless agents. Basically, it's an agent that deploys an agentless function that is then managed by an agent agentlessly. It's very impressive. And you can see it all there, fidget spinners and everything. It's amazing.
Wow.
So Ian, I'm not sure if this is a false report, but I heard that RSA might be changing their name to AES.
I'm not certain yet. I do know that as we go through the floors and whatnot, a lot less talk about crypto and blockchain and more back to the classic algorithms. So I think they're not changing it to AES. It might be changing to the Caesar conference, in which everything will be nothing but Caesar cipher.
Caesar cipher, yeah. Very hard to decode.
Yeah, we know that's cryptographically secure for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, thanks for your report, Ian. Are you going to stick around, or do you want us to...
Oh, absolutely. No, I will probably head inside, and if we see anything interesting...
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll just jump right back on cam, and we can
If
talk
you
to
can
folks
find
and see
John
what's happening.
Strand, I'm not sure if that's
John
too tall
Strand
of an
in
order,
there.
but there is a John Strand person inside the RSA conference. He might be automated. He might be agentless. That'll be up to you to find out.
One of the John Strands, anyway.
One of the John Strands. I can see
if you find the other one, get him on the news too.
Man, wouldn't that be great? I mean, it is San Francisco, so I mean, there might be some models around here. I don't know. Very, very posh, very nice looking place. So either way, if I see them, I will get them to model something, whether it be modeling agentless deployments of AI ML malware or malware that's been AI agentlessly deployed. We'll see what comes out of RSA 2022.
Well, luckily
we are
this
getting some questions from the audience, Ian. Like, is
Oh,
that
please,
all
yeah.
those agentless servers? Are they? Is it serverless code as well?
Not only is it serverless code, but it is codeless pseudocode. Essentially, you take a number of interns and just have them shout into Discord, and then an AI ML module takes those audio waves and turns them into Stack Overflow searches.
Wow.
That is incredible. What a world we live in.
I would say,
it's incredible. Yeah.
Honestly, though, thanks for checking in. I'm glad that our news report is not agentless because we have Agent Ian on the site. So
yes, absolutely. So yes, reporting live from RSA 2022.
There's
Ian
more
Meyer.
glass in that building than there is in any single pane of glass.
Any single pane? Yeah, no. There's many single panes. It's a multi-single pane redundant environment. Absolutely.
There's a lot of pain in that building.
There is.
There is a lot of pain in that building.
Hopefully, you
I'm
can
going to
find
go
us
in
in
and
the mail.
experience some of it. So I
All
might
right.
jump back in. If
Check
the
back in.
newscast
Yeah,
is still going.
just let
Live
us know
from the
if you want
floor.
us to cut to you for the Synergy Weather podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. See you guys in a bit. Go ahead and take me off video there. Excellent.
Wow.
Wow.
Good thing our news isn't agentless.
I know, right?
We have reporters in the field. I mean, we are a news show.
We're actually getting to be somewhat professional at this point.
Yeah.
All right. On that note.
Really bring it back.
So did you all see the news about Mandiant possibly and the latest from the ransomware district?
That's a spicy boy. Yeah, the ransomware, the supposed threatened ransomware of Mandiant. Is this real? Is it not? Has anyone confirmed?
What do you got for us? Tell us the news.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't totally know, but this is breaking news. There is actually some articles on it. When I first saw this come in, there was not articles on it, just Twitter post about it. So, but yeah, now it's somewhat official that there is no evidence that they were hacked by Lockbit. So, but Lockbit is supposedly claiming to have compromised the Mandiant website. So, we'll keep you appraised as the situation develops. But.
So wasn't there a Mandiant compromise a couple of years ago where their like weaponized exploits were leaked and stuff?
Well, there was a FireEye one.
FireEye, yeah.
Yeah.
But is
it not the same thing? I am not keeping track of these companies.
Oh my god, it's like bingo, man.
How many times has Mandiant been bought and sold over the last 5 years?
There's the whipping boy of
all right, let's see. Who owns Mandiant?
Oh, no. Here we go.
It's not VMware.
It could be. What do you call it? Which, coincidentally enough, VMware also got bought by Broadcom last week. That was the other thing that happened. I don't know if we talked. We didn't talk about that, right? So
no,
VMware,
because last week we were not.
Yeah,
here.
that's right. No, I'm saying I think it was last week that it happened. We didn't talk about it before, but yeah, Broadcom bought VMware, which God rest your soul, everyone who happens to be using VMware right now. Prepare for subscription models and other things.
So wait, why would Broadcom do that? Don't they like sell CPUs and stuff?
They are expanding into destroying other companies.
Who else have they acquired?
That's the point. They've acquired a lot of other companies, but no one knows about them anymore. Actually, hold on. There is one other company that they did acquire that you probably have heard of. It's called Semantic, and it didn't work out so hot. So,
but wait, what are you talking about, dude? They put crypto miners in the
that's right, they did. They did. Well, okay, so Broadcom did buy VMware, which in turn they bought Carbon Black. So,
right.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, so it's a whole thing, right? This is
be prepared for your Carbon Black instance to get crypto miners installed.
Yes, crypto mining Carbon Black. They will not only find the miners, but they will install them as well.
Well, so the thing is though, is that a lot of crypto miners will actually check for other crypto miners as it is. Like you get like virus protection from crypto miners. So
that's what I've been using.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, to fact check ourselves, Mandiant in December 2013, which is a long time ago, was acquired by FireEye. But then in March 2022, which is recently, they were acquired by Google, the old Googs, for $5.4 billion, and integrated into Google's cloud division. So
Mandiant's owned by Google now?
Yeah, they're owned by Google.
Wow, you're right. They have been really sold around.
They really have. And then also, like we were talking about Carbon Black. Carbon Black got bought by VMware. Then VMware got bought by Broadcom. So the name at this point
VMware was owned by Dell
They were
EMC
owned by
for a
Dell.
while.
Yeah.
So
Well, not
okay,
Dell.
so
They were owned by Dell EMC, but yeah.
So when you install it, it should be VMware Carbon Black Dell EMC Broadcom agent.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but they're not still owned by Dell VMC. Dell sold them, or sold a bunch of their stock, and then VMware was its own thing for a minute, and then it became not.
Yeah. So Mandiant, we hope you aren't hacked.
Yes, we do hope, man.
VMware, we hope that you're not really bought by Broadcom.
I think that one's kind of set in stone.
Yeah, that one is kind of set in stone. Actually,
you never know. They can always back out. They can always back out of the contract due to issues.
Get out. There actually was a clause in the contract that said, and this is true, that if someone else were to offer more money for them, that Broadcom would get the opportunity to match the offer.
So, okay, someone tweeted Elon Musk and tell him instead to buy VMware and open source everything.
Just open source all of VMware.
Right?
Tweet that.
We know it's just Red Hat under the hood, right? I mean, it's got to be.
No, yeah, it's totally. Anyways, yes.
So,
hopefully,
anyway,
it wasn't hacked.
I see there's an article about Cobalt Strike. We got to cover it.
Is there?
Yeah.
What's Cobalt Strike?
Fake Windows exploits target InfoSec community with Cobalt Strike.
Oh, did we talk
official
about this
whipping boy, the Cobalt Strike, the official whipping boy of malware analysts everywhere.
Yes. I feel like this is like your first time catching somebody doing something. You're like, oh, Cobalt Strike. That's what they had.
I do think it's, this is why people are paranoid, right? They're very paranoid because a threat, and this is, I guess, demonstrates how they should be paranoid, because someone targeted security researchers with fake exploits that infected them with agents in Cobalt Strike. So it's pretty funny because I was reading this thinking you're advertising like free Cobalt Strike licenses, but you're actually hacking people with Cobalt Strike.
Well, no, they're advertising free remote code execution exploits. Proof of concept.
Proof of concept, CVE. So yeah, this is a good example of, security hackers, security researchers, whatever you want to call them, pen testers, consultants, whatever, can be targeted by malware. Isn't that crazy?
Well, and this isn't the first time we've seen this. There was a period of time, there was another group that was doing pen testing tools. It wasn't, they were like already free tools. It was like bad versions of Nmap and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you didn't go to the official download site, like if you didn't go to the official download site though, and you downloaded these, and they were being used all over the place. So yeah, definitely be careful with your tools that you're downloading and using, because the concept is in fact that, well, if you're using these kind of tools, you probably have access to a certain level of, restricted information. So,
I mean, it's like the classic, Metasploit was invented so that you could have exploits that weren't backdoored and, broke your system. And now, I guess free iPads just aren't cutting it anymore. You got to go with free POCs.
POCs. I mean, think about it, man, because people are these hackers trying to hack more hackers, right?
I will say it is kind of like, I feel like we've kind of gotten in a scenario where the InfoSec community is somewhat at fault here, where like anytime a new vulnerability comes out, the clients and everyone is like, hey, can you exploit this? Hey, everyone, can you exploit this? And we're like, well, hold on. We don't even know what it is. Like,
it has been out for 6 hours. Give us a minute.
Well, you can do that, or you can just Google it and then download everything and run it against the client network and then infect yourself with a Cobalt Strike agent. Yeah,
true.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to say it's hard as an attacker if someone asks you, "Hey, you need to validate this. We need to see if we're vulnerable to this or whatever." You're hunting for these POCs. You're kind of, it's similar to people who get social engineered and they get they feel like they're scared, they're worried, they feel like they owe money to the IRS or whatever, and then they get taken for a ride and scammed out of thousands of dollars. So this is kind of that. I feel like as a community, we need to give the attackers time to actually read the code and validate whether it's a real exploit or if it is malicious. And I mean, I will say as a red teamer or whatever you want to call it, don't just run random executable files that you download. Like maybe build it yourself, read through the source code.
If it's a Python script and you don't understand it, step back. right?
Also, security is a small enough community. Just
Yeah.
only run POCs from people you know. I mean,
I only send malware to Corey.
Ralph only sends me malware, and I trust everything he sends. That's why I've been infected 14 times with 14 different crypto miners.
Oh man, your machines really need a GPU upgrade, man.
That explains all the power usage.
It's time, dude. The GPUs are down. There's actually an interesting debate. Speaking of Cobalt Strike, when I say interesting, and then I'm going to follow along with Twitter. And no, it wasn't that Elon Musk is maybe not going to buy Twitter. It was that they were talking about Cobalt Strike and like kind of whether it's dead or not, right? Like, you know, not to use Cobalt Strike, and even though it's like the favorite threat actor now platform because it got leaked in some way, shape, or form. But you know, since EDR and all the other fun stuff, and it's the point being is that Cobalt Strike's like the favorite whipping boy of you know, bad threat actors and also red teamers for a while, right? But anyways,
yeah, I mean, I will say this is an interesting attack because you probably the assumption from the attacker is probably that the person has either configured exceptions for Cobalt Strike or
that's my payloads,
or doesn't have any AV or EDR at all, because if they're running Cobalt Strike on their machine, then
hack naked.
They have to have something disabled. Or lastly, they just expect Cobalt Strike to be running at all times. So they don't know, you know, they're like beacon.exe. Yeah, that's me. I'm just testing a payload, right?
Yeah, I'm testing it permanently.
So, I mean, that's the other thing is really if you're going to test some of these, you know, totally unvalidated exploits from GitHub or wherever, maybe consider doing it in a sandbox style environment with an offline, you know, take it, you know, do basic, handle it like it's real malware if you don't know where it came from or what it does. Or just unleash it on a client network and beacon a bunch of client machines. What could go wrong? I mean, make security worse by trying to make it better, I guess.
Classic.
One thing I would add to your point, Ralph, I mean, this isn't totally my forte, but I think we see it in the news plenty of, you know, attacks still going on with Cobalt Strike. I wouldn't say that it's a completely dead technique because we want to emulate the actual attacker's methodology some. So, well, yes, I think it gets detected more than some because it just was so popular. I think it's still a valid technique, namely in the fact that if you can't detect Cobalt Strike, you've got problems.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the Twitter thread, right? They were like, oh, well, not necessarily that it can't detect it, but that because it become, you know, so ubiquitous that everybody was like just detecting it, right? Like that. And that, you know, as red teamers or, you know, trying to emulate advanced threats, just kind of moving off of it, right? Because the shell code is signatured to the nines. And then the other question is kind of like, well, what's the other options? And, you know, why and all the other fun stuff. So,
I mean, personally, I would say that the fact that it's so heavily signatured is almost a plus at this point, because if you walk into, I mean, if you're going for pure evasion, like if your goal is do not be detected in any case, and that's the client's goal for the engagement, then it's going to be really hard to operate with Cobalt Strike.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's kind of a waste of time and money in most cases. So running the Cobalt Strike agent, making sure it's detected, and then just having them turn it in alert only mode or whatever. If you don't test for that, I feel like you are legitimately missing a huge part of the engagement, because it is used by real attackers. It is used by real malware campaigns. And so you need to make sure they're detecting it. So in my opinion, even if it's being detected, that isn't necessarily a negative. It's almost a plus, because it shows, hey, your security controls are functioning as intended, which is an important part of a security assessment, in my opinion. But I get people that are all focused on, oh, it's only about the capability of the tools, and I need to go in completely dark, no detections, run the engagement for 3 weeks, and then tell the client, ha ha, we got you. We hacked you so hard you didn't even see it. I don't think that engagement is super valuable in most cases, unless the client has said, like, we want to actually be tested for dwell time and detection and all that stuff.
Sure.
So I guess that's my take on it. The more it gets detected, it might not be useful as an operational tool if you're going stealth, but it's still useful as a proof of a demonstration of that they can actually detect malware.
Cobalt Strike 3.0.
Well, and I would say that some of it's also going to depend on the customer's security maturity, like the maturity of their program, and the fact that, you know, yeah, you could go through, build a completely custom C2 channel, completely custom agent, completely custom everything, And like you very well might not get detected, but if you could also just deploy Carbon Black, or not Carbon Black, if you could deploy Carbon Black and not get detected, then yeah, you don't need that. But if you could do Cobalt Strike and not get detected, what are you teaching them? Like you just went completely overboard. They have problems here that they need to fix, and then next time you come through, you can do the fully custom project.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my hot take on it.
Hot take.
I mean, I will say the Cobalt Strike people may have to change some of their narrative to be like, it isn't necessarily the most advanced evasive framework.
When either when is the new Cobalt Strike version coming out that's going to up the game, or when is Cobalt Strike going to replace Metasploit as the, kind of...
I mean, I would say at this point, honestly, going in, if you're trying to avoid detection, you're probably better with Meterpreter than you are with Cobalt Strike. And I'm not kidding.
I know, right?
I am not kidding.
It's brutal.
So
this other article I got here is kind of right up our alley. It's I guess recently hackers got a database of hundreds of Verizon employees, right? And so the attack is pretty simple. They called up Verizon, convinced an employee that they were from internal support, and then the employee allowed them to RDP or, just get some kind of remote desktop session. I don't know. It's probably TeamViewer. Who cares? On that system. And then they were able to access internal tools, and then they started scraping all of the information from that system, right? And then the hacker would like Verizon to pay a $250,000 as a reward, right, for this hack, right? So they also taunted Verizon by saying that these employees are idiots. I mean, they're probably just doing their job, and they don't want to get fired. But either way, yeah. What do you guys think?
Link this article, Ralph, because you did not put it in the news, and poor Ryan's over here just digging for it.
Yeah. Sorry. Here it is. It's a Vice article here. But yeah. What do you guys think?
I mean, I will say, given the whole SIM swapping ecosystem that we're in right now, this is deeply concerning, depending on how much info there is. The phone number one especially is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that aren't in the loop or don't know what I'm talking about, SIM swapping is rampant for MFA bypass. That's basically the standard. It's been used to steal crypto wallets. It's been used to, social engineer people, etc. But the vector for that is to social engineer or compromise these Verizon employee accounts that have the ability to change what SIM card a phone number is attributed to.
Mm-hmm.
And the Verizon is generally regarded as one of the more difficult ones to SIM swap. The charge for Verizon to SIM swap someone is much more expensive than it is for like T-Mobile or AT&T or other places, which is kind of an indicator of, there's a Darknet Diaries episode someone mentioned that is super in depth about SIM swapping. But the scary part is that if someone has a database, or if everyone, the worst case scenario, everyone has a database of every employee at Verizon, they can target them easily and call them directly. And just the amount of social engineering attacks that can be executed using this database is so high that it's concerning to me. So just the number of people that will be able to social engineer Verizon employees given their phone numbers is massive.
Yeah.
So that's my main concern here. It's on Verizon to either roll all those phone numbers. Like, they could probably change everyone's corporate ID, everyone's phone number. Email address is way harder, and just the number of phishing campaigns, but they already probably get 1 million phishing campaigns. So I guess basically I would say, this is bad. It's not, no passwords, no like direct information that you could use to like log into their accounts, but it just aids in social engineering.
It's just intel to take later on in your next attack. They're all little pieces of the puzzle, and if you add enough of them together, you can paint a very, very, elaborate attack that, they go, how did you get this? How did you get this? And it's all little crumbs that you've been picking up and saving. So. Yeah.
Someone said, Clear in chat said you can find them via LinkedIn. That is kind of true that you can find the employees, but finding their direct phone numbers, it depends on what phone numbers were leaked. If they're just like their corporate numbers, it might not be that big of a deal because you could just dial in. But if it's like their personal manager cell phone numbers and you're calling into some Verizon store, someone's personal phone, that social engineering wise, you can be like, hey, I'm over here with the customer. I need to, like there's so much social engineering vector there because the assumption is, how did you get this phone number? Right. So that's the concern.
So I had my own SIM swapping story this weekend. No, I didn't go do any SIM swapping, but my wife had to get her phone repaired, like the back screen or whatever had cracked. And so I guess at the Apple store, they make you erase the entire phone and then they give you back what they say is a fixed phone, but maybe it's a new phone. It doesn't matter. But the thing about the SIM swapping is that so now all the new phones support eSIMs, right? If you guys haven't heard of this, you don't actually have to put a physical SIM in a lot of the new devices anymore. You can use what they call an eSIM. And the benefit of this is actually a lot for the carriers. It's actually really, really popular with low budget carriers who want to onboard people without having to send them a SIM. So like think postpaid customer, like, you have a prepaid plan. I'm sorry, not a postpaid. Anyways, when I went to set up the phone, I needed to, my wife's phone didn't have a SIM. It had an eSIM. So I had to move over to the new SIM. And so I went onto the T-Mobile website. And as soon as you log in, you can just add a new SIM, right? You can convert it over. And T-Mobile's protection is that they send you a text message when you type in that new eSIM number. They send a text message to the current phone number, right? Saying, hey, we're going to swap this SIM, or we're going to move to this new eSIM within like 2 hours, right? Which is not that long, I guess, depending on, what you were doing. But I didn't want to wait 2 hours. So I tried it again. Immediately, it swapped the SIM over, right? By entering the eSIM a second time, it kind of like canceled it out, I guess. So
I mean, that's honestly bug bounty that to T-Mobile, because that's just a disaster. Like that. Seriously, you should be wearing a T-Mobile shirt right now and report that. I know we're talking about this live on the news, so it's already out there, but seriously, like you should report that. There's a reason why T-Mobile is like the worst or cheapest or whatever, however you want to define that, easiest to SIM swap.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this might be part of that.
That would be interesting. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that
the 2 hour timeout is, there's so many attacks. Like if you know a person's going to be hiking and you're going to be hiking in the mountains for the next 2 hours, do it then, because I'm not going to get the text, right? Like, I know.
But okay, so the only thing I'll caveat with this story is that on my account I do have 2-factor, and it is like enforced, whatever. Like they make you either send a text message or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that that is the end, and that there will never be an attack. I'm just saying that it is
compensating control.
It is compensating you.
Someone mentioned in chat, which is an interesting thing. White Cyberduck said a lot of websites only require phone numbers and a code that is sent to SMS, meaning there is no password. It's not 2FA. It's 1-factor, just the code sent to your phone. Which I guess is kind of it's only something you have. It's not something you know and something you have. But I've gotten, I'm sure everyone else has probably, spurious login. Like I got one from Spotify that was like, here's your code to log in. But then in the email or the text, they say like, if this wasn't you, just don't worry. Like someone tried to log into your account. Just don't worry.
Totally fine.
No, well, is it totally fine? Because doesn't that mean your password possibly is compromised?
Well, no, just your phone number.
No,
That's
it doesn't. Anyone can put your phone number into their account too. So.
Yes. So basically, like the login, and this is totally like we've failed at passwords, and we've talked about this many times. Like us as an Infosec community, passwords are a failure. So basically, what they do now is, you want to log into Spotify? Just type your phone number. We'll send you a text. Then you're in. Mm-hmm. Done. Even Microsoft does it. Like there's a way for Microsoft to set up text or SMS based auth and have it bypass your password. So that is a whole different can of worms. But this is, I guess, if you work at Verizon cybersecurity, please either considering rolling these phone numbers, or at the very least educate, send a lot of information, a lot of communication to your employees saying like, we expect vastly increased social engineering attacks over the next 6 months or whatever. If everyone has everyone else's direct line, but
phone numbers are gold now.
Yeah, I mean, phone numbers aren't. I mean, obviously they can be enumerated. That there's a lot. It's similar to emails where there's services you can pay that will tell you whether it's a landline, a text. Does it have FaceTime? Where is it? Who owns it? All that stuff. But still, if they're these Verizon internal numbers and they're rolling them, like having the direct line to an employee is a big, not great.
For sure.
So that's an interesting article. Thanks for tossing that in there, Ralph.
Yep. So do we want to talk about ransomware? We don't.
Well, we talked about the fake or real. We don't know Mandiant ransomware.
Yeah. So I guess in our ransomware roundup or whatever we want to call it, or hit list, or
newest developments from the ransomware sector.
Yeah, the RIP we're gonna put on the gravestone. So I guess multiple flights across India grounded after the Spice Jet Airlines. Spice Jet. It's real. I guess it's a real airline. They were ransomware attacked and flights were grounded. So yeah, I guess ransomware is still a thing. Was there another?
It just says hundreds of people. If the article's in India and it's only hundreds of people, it wasn't too bad.
I guess not.
Because I mean, the population is what, 2.5 billion or something?
Yeah, I haven't rode on SpiceJet.
So yeah, the quote is, "While our IT team has, to a large extent, contained and rectified the situation," you got to lead with the positives.
Yeah,
this has had a cascading effect on our flights, leading to delayed. They are in touch with experts and cybercrime authorities. So yeah, they tweeted and confirmed the ransomware attack.
It's kind of funny because, all right, so just to broaden this out a little bit and not to just like harp on like all the usual ransomware stuff we talk about, but a lot of industries are taking note about this, but the attackers are just spreading out to like the smaller ones, the helpless that don't care or don't listen to anything security. They don't even have a security team, possibly, right? They've got 3 jets. I don't know if they have.
No, this is so. It's funny we made that joke and we were totally wrong because it says that they're the second largest carrier in India based on number of domestic passengers.
Perfect.
They have 12 million passengers a month. So yeah, we were super wrong. 600 flights a day on average.
Oh God.
They've also apparently been.
So they probably have a security team.
They've been breached and leaked before. So it also is I mean, who knows? I guess we can speculate wildly about why this would have taken. What would have happened? Did they do like a rolling reboot or something?
Yeah, like, did you always reboot it first?
Like he says, cascading specifically in the in the message. So like, did they like take their domain controllers offline? What did they do? I'm wondering. Like
the domain controllers for the planes.
Yes, they all run Windows.
Each plane gets its own trust zone.
Yeah, when it lands, it has to resync back up.
It's a bidirectional trust between planes. Don't worry about it.
Yes, don't even ask any questions about that.
So, I mean, we're speculating here. There's not a confirmed debrief, at least not that we have in front of us. But it seems like they mostly contain the spread of the attack, and most, if not all, of the interruptions were based on their response, not based on the actual ransomware. Because if it was based on the actual ransomware, they probably wouldn't be back up in 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I maybe they just took, and this is honestly a good thing about their cybersecurity program, if they were willing to take this hit in the PR department for the cybersecurity benefit of either taking egress offline or whatever they did, we don't know. It could be an example of, you have to say, are we going to be down for 4 hours or are we going to be down for 2 days or 5 days? Which I think, if that was the call they made the right call. I'd rather, as a cybersecurity professional, get in trouble for taking down, flights for security reasons, but then ultimately the people's data is safe and you don't have to pay out and all that stuff. Plus delays happen anyway. So whatever.
Sure.
Well, then, I mean, as the security personnel, if you go down for 2 days due to ransomware, you're still the one that get yelled at. So you might as well take the 3 hours of downtime.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see if some write-ups or debriefs come out about how I'm assuming if they did respond this well, they're going to brag about it, right? So.
Well, regretfully, ransomware is still a thing. Just wait for next week. I'm sure it'll be somebody else big and or small. We don't know. So fun stuff.
It might be Mandiant. I mean, that's still just waiting.
Yeah. It's in the hopper.
That one's like it's loading.
It's still loading. It's the AOL here of ransomware attacks. So in other fun news, I feel like this was the original, what do you call it? COVID-19 security scare, which is Zoom bombing. There's a zero-click
Was.
Okay. It was patched. 0-click Zoombug allows code execution by just sending a message. So I guess again, I'm gonna say the big guns at Google Project Zero uncovered a attack path that would allow a RCE, and actually, so Zoom uses XMPP for the messaging protocol, and it's XML based. And in short, you can send, if you send the right messaging tag, you can smuggle data inside of there, which in turn you can get to execute. There were four CVEs. So of course, XML parsing issues, right? There was a update package downgrade, insignificant hostname validation, and improper constrained session cookies. So yeah, fun stuff.
Really cool bug. Really interesting write-up, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Project Zero.
Definitely, if you're a vulnerability researcher kind of person, definitely worth digging into that Project Zero post, because the number of vulnerabilities and things they chained together here to get this is crazy. So
yeah,
it's 6 bugs. You have to chain 6 CVEs together, which has got to be some kind of record.
I don't know if you had to chain them all together to get that one to work. I have no idea. But I will say this, related to that, and for, me picking on Zoom, or everyone picking on Zoom in the COVID-19 pandemic intro, where Zoom bombing and every other security thing about Zoom had to be tested, and some of it rightfully so. Zoom is now paid out more than 1.8 million in bug bounties in 2021. Right. So they're paying out for they're
I mean, that's honestly good, especially
bit.
since their stock kind of took a hit after everyone's like, wait, we still have offices again? Oh, crap. But yeah, I mean, what is the vector for this, right? So the vector is you have to be able to send someone a Zoom message. There's no like public messaging in Zoom, right? Like you can't just like message an arbitrary Zoom person. This would have to be someone you were in a meeting with, right?
Yeah, you would have to be in a meeting, but you could get some code execution though.
Right,
but it's not hard to get into a Zoom meeting with someone. I mean, it's used by salespeople all over the place.
Yeah, dude. Hey, let's have a meeting.
But who wants to beacon a salesperson? Not me.
I mean, that's a good start though. I mean, their passwords
if you're looking for a path.
Yeah,
the attack vector is also like, don't forget about webcasts or other high publicity events.
Yeah, dude, what if you just Zoomed everyone with a text message and like a Zoom webcast?
If you hit me with this on a webcast, I respect you, but I also don't like it.
No, I'm just saying, like, you walk into RSA, you say, I'm deeply interested in your machine learning, agentless, serverless code, and I'd love to have a meeting to talk about this. And they give you a Zoom link, and boom, you're in. And now you have all that IP.
I mean, true, but now you have a beacon on a sales guy and exfiltrate 2 terabytes of useless information about spreadsheets. But yeah. I mean, you're right. It's not... The vector is relatively easy to get someone into a Zoom. There's also ways like some people have like public Zoom redirectors or public signups, like Calendly is one where you can just go on someone's calendar and request a meeting. Like, I'm looking for a job. Can I have a meeting? There's a lot of vectors there. As
another option would be HR. Just like make a job application. Just
be like, I have to report. I have something to report.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But or if you just do like a job, I'm just thinking like there's automated systems that you can totally take advantage of that will set up this meeting, and if you're not like restricting access to the messages, I mean, now that it's patched, it's not such a thing. But if you're not restricting access to like put messages in, it'll just automatically set up a Zoom meeting. Half the time it'll set one up and you can get into the lobby and just wait for someone to show up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the vector, I mean, it's been fixed now. No action needed. Patch your Zoom.
Patch your Zoom.
Or update your Zoom, which it does auto update, I think, in some cases, but not always. So definitely go and manually update your Zoom clients. Does it have an OS? Does it have like an OS restriction? Does it have to be? I assume the lib is shared between all OSs.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna be able to execute. So like if you knew, or you could have it run a Unix-based command and a Windows-based command.
So yeah, it has to be. You need to make sure you're on version 5.10.4 of the Zoom client or newer. So.
Yep. There was another one here too. I honestly feel like we've
Twitter
talked-
paid $150 million fine.
Which, what? Go. Is that which one you were going to talk about?
Yeah, they got since we already talked about Daddy Elon buying Twitter.
Old daddy.
They have apparently paid out $150 million fine for using two-factor login details to target users with ads.
Oh yes.
So they collected people's alternate phones and emails,
and then sold them.
Yeah. And then sold them to
SIM swappers. I made that up. I'm just kidding.
No, they did not sell them to SIM swappers, but they did use them.
Can you prove that they did not though?
They did. They violated the U.S. FTC Act. So it basically says that they deceived users about the extent to which Twitter maintained and protected the security and privacy of users' non-public contact information.
And this is why Elon.
That's probably why Elon wants to back out.
Also, this is in 2011. So, or
no.
This is a prior. No.
They violated the act.
They violated. Well, no, they've paid it. They've done a lot of settlements.
It looks like they violated the settlement that they made in 2011 as well.
My God.
They violated.
We said we weren't going to do it, and then we did it again.
This fine covers the May 2013 to September 2019.
Oh my
but
God.
They've also paid out previous state settlements as well for
beautiful
the same thing. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed that they weren't able to just lobby their way out of this, but
yeah, maybe it costs more for the lobbyists than
150 mil, dude. That's a lot.
I mean, I don't know what a lot is to these companies.
So I guess it's kind of funny because here's the thing that's kind of frustrating. So you're a user, you were sold by Twitter for a massive amount of money. And then the fine just goes to who? The FTC? What are they going to do with it? Buy golden toilets for their field office? Like, it doesn't go to you. You don't get any money back.
Golden toilets.
Hold on a second. I'm a
FTC?
victim of this, and what do I get?
What? Yeah, exactly.
Free credit monitoring for a year
from the FTC. Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
Retirement watch is a golden toilet.
I honestly have no idea what they're going to do. Like, what happens to this money? I honestly don't know, but $150 million has got deposited into someone's bank account. And I like, the FTC's bank account or whoever, or the DOJ, like the users are still they had their data sold for 6 years or whatever and get nothing for it.
Nothing.
So it's totally, I mean, if you ever thought anyone was on your side, they're not.
No one's on your side.
That's why I just sell my own data.
Yeah, contact Noah if you'd like to buy
all of my own advertisement data.
He's his own data broker.
List.
Just ask.
I just go into there. I provide like a text file full of things that I like, things I don't like. Here's my birthday and various information. If you're interested in buying, reach out to me.
So yeah, I mean, someone on Twitch said the 150 million seems like a light fine for what they did. I mean, it is 20% of their revenue or 20% of their income for the year, which is a decent chunk. But then when you think about the violation was over the course of six or so years, it goes down to what is 20 divided by 6, whatever that is, a smaller chunk of their total profit and revenue. But contact Noah if you want to buy his data. There's an open bid.
Yeah, it's a negotiation.
Currently, the high bid is $2.
Yeah, what is your
$2? No, your information is deeply.
He only negotiates on Telegram, and he only takes Tornado Cash.
No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a Zoom meeting invite. Just accept that, and we'll have a negotiation there.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
So I have another one.
Another one. So this is Bleeping Computer. I guess this is like, it feels like a what do you call it? Attack from Microsoft on Android here, but Microsoft found severe bugs in Android apps from large mobile providers.
Well, because after all, Microsoft is the authority on mobile OSs.
Well, so wait up, because don't forget that Microsoft is integrating Android apps into Windows 11, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Probably where this comes from.
Yes,
now that it's integrated into their OS, they're like, now that we've done this, we should.
There's like
now that this is complete, we should probably look into this.
So I guess it was 4 CVEs in the mobile framework. Frameworks for a lot of these development environments are becoming more and more common to speed up development and allow you to, get where you want to go faster. And by this framework is by MCE systems, and it was exposing users to command injection and privilege escalation attacks on the Android or on the mobile device, right?
So wait, hold on. Okay, this has nothing to do with Windows. This is just the Microsoft 365 Defender research team, which is just smart people that Microsoft happens to be paying to research general vulnerabilities.
Yeah, no.
So there's no actual angle between Microsoft and Android.
Oh, there's totally an angle.
Even though we made it up, but it's funny.
Yeah,
But
no, there's always an angle, Corey.
There's always
if nothing else, they'd be like, hey, I think there's an issue over here. Like, yes, go look at that right now.
So they were fixed, but hold on. Let's bring up the debate. Android is insecure. That's the debate. And
well,
that's it. No.
I wouldn't say that.
That's why I use my Windows phone.
Yes.
Yes. But no,
Windows 11 for phone.
I think basically that what this shows, if you dig into the vulnerability, right, it's a specific thing, a specific mobile framework owned by MCE Systems, which who knows where that comes from. The supply chain vector is huge on Android because there's so many devices, there's so many frameworks, there's so many apps. Currently, all the apps are allowed in the Google Play Store and enabled.
And it's not centralized. I mean, Google Play Store is one app store. It's not even like it's probably the most popular app store, but there is other like equally popular app store, especially for other countries. And side loading is not on that uncommon. I mean, heck, Epic was having you side load the Fortnite mobile app onto your phone if you wanted to play it on Android. Like, it's not that uncommon to like have instructions about how to side load and everything else. It's the freedom and the curse of Android. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So basically, if you're on Android, make sure you're not running one of these apps. Make sure that you are only running source, that you're not side loading. You're running Google sources. And also, Google, get your stuff together when it comes to these security checks, because it says the apps are passing Google Play Protect automatic security checks. So,
but how many times do we see Google Play Protect like allowing banking Trojan malware? I wouldn't say Google Play Protect is really something I want to bet my personal security on. Honestly, I'm not even against sideloading so much as like if you're sideloading an app though, you better be dang sure that you know where it's coming from and that you actually trust that you should be looking at the source, just like we were talking about with the hacking tools. If you're sideloading, you should be building that yourself. I mean,
and we've talked about it on the show of banking Trojans being in games and other things that just weren't checked properly, because unlike Apple, which has an insanely aggressive stance, like with Apple, you have to update your app every like 6 months or else it just gets taken off the store, even if there's no changes. Like Apple's like, we had some artisanal Johnny Ive type guy print off every line of code and print it on glass and look at it and look at a spreadsheet. Like, it's very much more in depth, whereas Google is more just like, whatever works.
Well, Apple, I mean, in order to get your app on the store, it has to get reviewed and then approved to go on the store. Like Google does, like it'll let you put it to the store and
it's
then
automatic.
It takes it down. It's
default allow versus default deny. Yeah, I mean the other thing about the Android and like the thing about mobile is, and what makes it so difficult is like if you let's say you just flew to a new city and you need to park, and the only way to pay for parking is you have to get this app called Parking Kitty, which is like the one in Portland, but like there's 1,000 apps. There's 1,000 apps that you need for stupid things that are like total vectors.
So sick of 14 apps to do
quite frankly, or not just like an Electrum app anyhow. Like it could just be a website. Please. Like stop putting websites in apps. You do not need that. If for anyone here who's like, I should write an app. If it could be a website, make it a website.
But it notifies me when my parking session's going to be
Nobody cares.
I'm so sick of opening my phone and the app just to unlock my refrigerator. It's horrible.
Right. I know. Dude, child safety locks. Yeah. I mean, basically, that's why these vectors are applicable. Like on Windows, you'd be like, well, don't run, VLC version 2.0 or like, run the most recent version. But on mobile, it's so hard to keep track, and it's hard to, the side loading thing and all that. So interesting bug. I mean, it is, I will say, side note.
Side.
It is actually really good that Microsoft is publishing and hiring people that they allow to actually speak publicly about vulnerabilities, because this is like not really in their DNA for a long time. Microsoft would like, hey, you're a good security researcher, come over here, and then they'd be like, all right, you will never tweet again. Like, so it's good that they're
you will never talk again.
It's good they're allowing the smart people on that research team to publish this stuff. I mean, obviously it's kind of blow for blow. I'm sure Project Zero now will have to drop a
yeah, no, this is it. They're like security teams in a PR.
It's like
press,
a showdown. It's like a showdown. Who's going to drop the better zero day? You know, Project Zero now is like, we have 7 CVEs chained together on Microsoft.
Yeah. And we have 0 in our name. We're better. Oh,
yeah,
man.
So that's an interesting one, too.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Apparently, Ian got so many buzzwords that he just couldn't make it
I
back.
know. I was going to say, Ian, I think actually he's probably trapped in a booth that's just glass, and he's trying to find.
Is there money flying around in there?
Yeah. There's money and glass, and he's trying to break out, and it's no stones.
The single pane of glass is getting him down.
Yes, yes. And the buzzwords are holding him back.
Yeah, I think the buzzwords could be blocking the internet connection in there.
Yeah, yeah. So for everyone else who's at RSA, enjoy the buzzwords, enjoy the glass. You know, and if you're selling buzzwords and glass, enjoy the sales. Hopefully you can solve all of our problems with AI or whatever else you guys are doing. But yeah.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for stopping by. We will be back again next Monday. I don't think we have any more holidays. And we will possibly have a weather forecast again. Ian might join. We might have some more guests. You never know. John might stop by. He's elusive, but he does show up. And yeah, we will hopefully have some more ransomware or not have some more ransomware. I don't know. We'll probably have some more ransomware. But we'll see you guys next week. And thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Later, guys.
See y'all.